Hello and welcome back. In the last lecture, we get all the dishes to be displayed on the UI. Okay, so we have a nice looking UI right now, which essentially presents us with our list of dishes in nicely presentable card layouts. Okay, and we also have an option to add to cart, but which is not functional correctly. The next thing we want to do is allow the user to filter these dishes based on certain category, right? If you recall, we actually created a certain categories for all our dishes, right? So if I go back to the backend code here, where is that? API underscore cafe. Yeah, that's the one. So if I go to my category REST client and I look for, let's say, get all the categories, I should be getting a few categories here. And if I go back to my dish REST client and let's say I query a particular dish, let's say, not the photo, just the dish. This is going over the internet actually, because we're hitting the endpoint on Heroku. Should have come by now. Alright, not found. Interesting. Okay. Right, let's take this one. Dish. I don't think this is is present anymore. Okay, let's get all of them. And if you look at it, each of the dish is having a category here, right? So if you want dishes belonging to a particular category, we should have to search for dishes which have the category of this ID, which means we have to build the API support for that to begin with, and then we can engineer the integration between the UI and the API, and then allow the user to filter the dishes based on the category, whether it's South Indian, North Indian, or Italian, or Mexican, right? So let's go ahead and do that. First, we'll put in the API constructs to enable that feature, and then we'll go over to the UI and then build the UI and the integration aspect as well. Okay, so I'm going to head over to, let me save these things and also close all these things. I'm going to head over to the source folder, and inside of the routes, I'm going to go over to the dish here, and I'm going to define another route, right, for the dish, and that's going to be a post route, and that's going to allow us to search dishes. So let's see how we can go about it. Router.post. This is going to be on dishes. We will also have certain elements here in terms of, we'll just have to essentially make it a search endpoint. So, and then this is going to be searching on categories. So we'll just put in the category word here, and I'll also say underscore search here. Okay, super. And I'll also provide a function that says search by category. Okay. Let me go ahead and close this, and I'll go ahead and import this as well, even though it's not present in our controller yet. Let's go ahead and save this. This is going to result in an error, but we are okay with that. Let's go inside the controller now, and I'm going to say, in fact, I think we might be having a lot of controllers in here. I thought only one. Oh no, there's quite a few of them. Okay, so I'm going to go to the very top. Okay, I need to get rid of some of this white space here. I generally create that so that we have a clean space to act when we are coding. But alright, no problem. So I'm going to go at the top, give myself a lot of space to work with, and in here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new method, and that's going to be search by category. Okay, so I'll say exports search by category. Oops, that's not create category. Thought it was search category. It is. Oh, I made a mistake here. Search by category. All right, I'll get it changed here as well. Okay, and I go inside here. Search by category. Okay, and this is going to be an arrow function and an async one of that. Okay, async arrow function, and that gets request and response, and We would also need the next here, because in case we want to trigger any error handling, we will need the next function injected here. I will expect the categories to be sent to me by as a post parameter, okay, post body, okay. So I'm going to say I'm going to destructure the request.body here. So I'm going to say categories is equal to request.body. Okay, super. And also now after this, I'm going to create another object here, and I'm going to call it as criteria, and I'm going to set it to an empty object to begin with. Okay. Next, I'm going to have a try catch block as always. There we go. And inside here, I'm going to check if categories dot. This is going to be an array, by the way, so we're going to be sending multiple categories for search, so it's going to come in as an array. Okay, so I'm going to say categories dot length. If this is going to be equal to 0, okay, then we have nothing to do here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say return create error. Okay, and this is going to be of type 404, and I'm going to say no category specified. Okay, so I think that should take care of that there, right? It has to be actually return next, right? Because that's how the error handling will get triggered. So we'll say return next, create error, and the specific error. Okay, so that should short circuit the flow here. And after this, if we do have category specified, we will then form the criteria object. I'll say criteria is equal to, I'm going to form an object here that says category is equal to, and I'm going to use the Mongoose in operator. Okay, it says $in, and I'm going to specify the categories here. Okay, which I'm getting from the request.body. Alright, so that's going to be the criteria. And after forming this, I'm going to say, I'm going to query the dish model. Alright, so I'll just say const results. This is going to be result here, and it's going to be an array of dishes, obviously. And I'm going to say dish rate dish dot find. Okay, and this is going to take the criteria object, which we just formed about, and we'll also go ahead and deselect the photo here. And say, and the way I do that is by saying select and minus photo, because we want to send the photo as a separate object, not necessarily as part of this payload. And then I'm going to do the regular stuff here as well. I'm going to populate the category. Alright, and I'll choose specific attributes here, which is going to be r_id and name. Okay, super. And what else? I think that's about it. So that's what we intend to do here, and then we can go ahead and say res.status, and this is going to be 100. Obviously, because it's an OK status, and I'm going to send the JSON object, which is going to be the result. Okay, super. So let's go ahead and save this. Hopefully we should be fine here. And inside the error block, I'm going to essentially log this particular error. Alright, probably have to change the line number. Again, that keeps changing as we keep adding the code here, right? And so what do we intend to do here in the error block? We actually just say next error, right? So I'm going to say, so we have this in place here right now, and next thing we can do is essentially go over to our REST client, which is the dish REST client, which is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and query for a particular category now. Alright, so first we need to get a category. Before that, let me form the request here. I'm going to say find a dish by category. Yeah, you could have multiple categories here as well. Okay, so this is going to be a post call, and it's going to be HTTP. I'll go with HTTP localhost 7787 API/dishes, and what did we give the route here as? It's going to be category_search. Okay, it's going to be category and _search. All right, and this is going to accept some body here, so I'm going to say content type. It's going to application JSON. Accept. It's going to be application JSON, and inside I'm going to provide body here. Okay, and this is going to contain categories, right? So what are we expecting here? So we're going to say rig.bodies categories. Okay, so let's go ahead and give that. So we're going to supply the categories attribute, and this is going to be an array, right? So I'm going to give an array of category IDs. How do I know what categories IDs I have? So let's go over here. Let me get all the categories. Okay, let's pick one of the IDs. So let's pick South Indian. Okay, and essentially provide the ID here. Okay, super. And let's say send request. Alright, so we got all the requests which are related to South Indian category, right? So we have this 1, 2, 3, and 4. Super. Let's try another ID. Okay, go over here, and not this one. Let me get all the categories first. Here we got the South Indian here, and let me close this. I think this is not the right window. Okay, let's get Italian. Fetch this ID, get this ID, and pass this in here. Okay, go ahead and send this. Yep, we are getting all the stuff here, right? We are getting 2 of them. One is the combo meal, and the other one is a veg pizza. Okay, and let's say we want to pass multiple categories here. So let's see, go ahead and fetch the category here again, and let me pick this. So it's going to be South Indian and Italian. Head over to the dish rest client, and I'm going to specify the next one and specify by color. Alright, so now I should get like 6 dishes back. Alright, so looks like we got the South Indian one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Italian. This is the 5th and the 6th. Okay, super. So this is all working fine right now. Alright, so let's take a pause here. Now we will next take this over to the UI integration piece and then work on the UI integration aspect and bringing this filter functionality live in the UI. Let's take a pause, come back soon.